Alright, we are live with some Superdraft auction. We have today Frozen Hot Pepper Pizza, who is up against Pride. This is the first game of the entire tournament, and I believe, and hopefully also the only game played on the old patch, which is also why I'm just gonna cast this live, so I don't have to switch patches later on. As we can see here, we have the map draft, we have Creator as game 1, then we have Places for Pride as a home map, and Todaiji for Frozen Hot Pepper Pizza. And I believe my voice might be cracking a bit, so I will quickly... Alright, that should be better. As for the sifs, there is no sif draft. The players did an auction on their sifs, which is seen above. Frozen has available the Berbers, the Lithuanians, the Sicilians, the Shu, and the Georgians. While Pride has the Bulgarians, the Britons, the Wei, the Cumans, and the Vietnamese. And with that being said, let's hop into game number 1. So we are playing on Creator. So let's hop in and let's start the game and let's catch up a bit to a live time. As we have Pride playing as the Britons in the yellow, and Frozen Hot Pepper Pizza playing in the red as the Georgians, going for the wood line up top. And here we also see the wood line from Pride. Currently there is about 100 elo difference between these players. Pride being around the 1200 elo rating, and Frozen Hot Pepper Pizza being around the 1300 elo rating. Currently Frozen going to push in his dare, or is he just... No, he's not pushing in his dare just yet. Does get the boar neatly under the TC. Pride also gets the boar around the same time. And he is also not pushing in his dare. His scout is roaming around. Now there are relics on the map. They are all located in the middle. And if these players did not mess up, then victory conditions should be standard. So relic victories are possible, wonder victories are possible as well, although I doubt we will see that on this map. So far, not too much happening. Just some gathering of the sheep, boars. There is a mill now for Frozen Hot Pepper Pizza. And could potentially push all these there a bit closer to the mill. Frozen currently also just scouting around his base, not really going for any looking where the opponent is. Pride is getting loom. He is not housed, so I wonder why he is getting loom this early. As we see Pride moving out and going for all the deer. Although I think having 12 villagers, there we go, having 12 villagers on one deer is a bit overkill. But this is a nice split of vills on different deers. So we see just 4 on the deer for Frozen Hot Pepper Pizza. And Frozen, 4 on wood, Pride 4 on wood, so it might be Archer v Archer opening here. Remember, with the Georgians, the livestock does not decay, so technically you could just push them all in a little bit and then shoot them near your mill and be completely fine. This will also mean that you will get a little bit of extra food from all your livestock because there is no decay happening at all. And Pride about to click up. There we go. And I think for Frozen, we will click up right after Loom finishes, after he drops off some food. And there we go. And roughly the same amount of time left for Feudal Age for both players. We see another house coming up. I think Pride should switch some more villagers onto wood here. Same for Frozen Hot Pepper Pizza, who is walling in his wood line. And since this is the only wood and it's fairly rough to secure, archers could be ranging everything here. Same for Frozen. He has walled it up, so scouts are not really an option here if Pride wants to go for that. As we see the barracks coming up now for Pride, and no barracks yet for Frozen. He's going for a house, and there's the barracks. Maybe a tad bit late, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it matters too much. Yeah, barracks complete, nice in time for Pride, and since he is not on gold, I think we might actually see a scout opening here. We see some houses, more houses, and a villager. As we see a scout opening from Frozen. And here we go to the gold for Pride. But not enough wood for a secondary military production building like the stable or the archery range. Tower now coming up on the wood line. Frozen, so that wood line will be very protected. Also getting in double bid-axe. And Pride currently going for the range. Nice in front of the gold. I also would not mind seeing a spear or two. He does spot the stable right now. And Frozen already with 2 scouts, more on the way. Having some nice vill action here on the ibex. And as we can see here, these ibex, they do not decay. And scouts currently still chilling, as we indeed see some spearmen being produced now from Pride as well. I like Frozen's setup here a bit more with the gate. If Pride ever wants to add in more villagers onto this wood line, it will have to be deletion of houses. As we see the first action here coming in from Frozen, who is now also getting horse collar, as Pride just completes double bid-axe. Pride could technically spot this, but that may be auto-scout, just auto-scouting. And Frozen has no clue where the berries are, but could... No, never mind. He knows where the berries are right now. And he sees the spear as well, so has to be careful. Is he going for it? He is going for the spear first. One scout goes down, and with the second spear there, he has to run away. Does spot the wood line, but does he know? He does not know what Pride is going for. And I think if Pride finishes this blacksmith, clicks fletching, he should just move out these archers and try to harass here a little bit. So far, pretty solid game from Frozen. As the archers are being attacked by the scouts, there was a spearman in there as well. And fletching now on the way. 4 archers remain. And the spearmen here around protecting the berries on a nice patrol. As we see a market coming up, we see the mining camp placed. So Frozen definitely not really thinking about more military, I think. I think he wants to get up to the Castle Age as soon as possible. As the scouts find the archers, and without a spearman there to protect them, I think that is a great fight for the scouts. As the archers go down, scout goes down as well. But these scouts should win this fight. And Pride not really producing anything at the moment. Busy microwing here. And Frozen also just started production of villagers again. It's also going for the blacksmith now. Does produce a few more scouts. As we see Pride with 8 on gold. Now also going for some farms. Also dropping his market. Woodline still nice and safe. No overchops here. And for Frozen there are also no overchops just yet. But the further out they go, the easier they will be ranged by the archers. As we see skill barding armor coming in for these 3 scouts. We're still producing some scouts, but his res is starting to look quite nice for clicking up to the next age. While Pride with only 3 on food looks a bit... and that's not great. It's now going for skill armor for his spikes. And does send the pikes with the archers now. I really like that. As Frozen clicks up to the castle age. Has some scouts chilling at home. Does not see any army movement here. And Pride does a bit of market abuse. And I think will click up to the castle age soon as well. As these villagers... oh, this is so annoying. That they walk around instead of just collecting from one of these 2 tiles. It would be way more efficient. But Frozen gets bloodlines, gets forging for his scouts. And his scouts are currently just chilling. Hasn't seen any pressure from Pride. So decides to just keep his army at home. Oh, and he finds the army right before bloodlines comes in. That might be not the fight you want to take, especially not downhill. Has to be careful, but Frozen garrisons. And there should be no issues. I still think you don't want to engage with the scouts here. I think the scouts could be of much more value if you find the other woodline for Pride that he also housewalled. Pride really focused on these house walls. Also cannot really find a lot of damage here, but is idling Frozen's TC. Or is eco, not his TC. As Frozen reaches the castle age and instantly produces steppies. And I think he does need a few more villagers on gold if he wants to continue the step lancer production long term. But currently short term is looking quite good. Now also dropping the 3rd stable. And since he made this tower here, he cannot immediately go for another TC. I think what we see a lot of people do here is try to get enough wood chopped away here. Or here to drop that TC on the wood line. So you will have safe wood in the long term. Not Frozen, currently just messing, not really taking a lot of advantage with the army here. And we see chain barding now coming in, so these steppies can potentially run under some TC fire just a little bit longer, as we see the 3rd range now coming in for Pride. Who has fixed his food eco just a little bit. And there was one, oh that is, was that an archer that spawned in here? That might be a gather point issue. But steppies find the 2nd woodline and will attack the house. Frozen not attacking downhill or uphill, so house will go down fairly fast. Villager needs to repair, but I would not mind seeing another wall behind here, because this could be 6 dead vills instead. Pikes go down. Archers attacking, and Frozen really wants to break in here, kill the Vils. Breaks in. And, ooh, is this gonna be an overchop? No, there's too much left. But some dead Vils. And the archers forced to retreat to the town center. As the KD here is looking amazing for Frozen. 21-7. Does dive the TC. I don't think that is the correct play here with how weak these step lancers are. But does manage to snipe a few Vils. And Vils on the gold here. Also die. And I think that might be GG right there. Right now on 22 villagers. With 0 army as Frozen loses one of his step lancers to the TC. Meanwhile, Frozen still has some scouts here. Roaming around, and Pride. I don't think with just 3 archers here can do a lot, but manages to snipe 1 step lancer, 2 step lancers, 3 step lancers, 4 step lancers. All step lancers go down, but the new and healthy step lancers here could just easily take this down. And Frozen now getting the iron casting upgrade. I would love Frozen to just drop a monastery in the middle and just grabs the relics. But Pride desperately trying to make something happen with the crossbow, but I think it's just too little. And with the amount of eco Frozen has behind this, like 18 farms, still has some potential berries left even to take. And Pride being forced off of this gold, not really in a position to move out to these golds either. And GG is called. So great opening game from Frozen here. And like I said, he is 100 elo higher, so he is the expected favorite here. But I also think Pride played really well here with the archers. If he could have moved out a little bit earlier, maybe with a spear or 2 with that first batch of archers, could have done some damage on the wood line and maybe changed the outcome of the game a bit. So we can go to the statistics. And Frozen, not in the score lead for technology, but for everything else, has the score lead with an 50-18 KD. And quite a bit of market abuse from both of these players. But Frozen with the better food eco, which is to be expected if you're playing scouts. And actually similar amount of wood and somewhat similar amount of gold collected here for both players. And here we can see when the raid started to happen, when Frozen attacked with the step lancers. Arguably quite similar APMs. Frozen maybe a little bit faster, but overall I think they're quite even here. So that is nice. Right, let's see if we have game number 2. Yes, we have. There is a little bit of spec delay left, just 30 seconds, so unfortunately not too long, which gives me right enough time to download the match contents and see what is going on. Right, I do see the sieves, but I will wait just a few more seconds so everyone sees the sieves. As capture H needs to. There we go. Alright. So we have Pride here playing as the Way, and Frozen Hot Pepper Pizza playing as the Berbers. Now this is Glacis, map introduced first by Red Bull for the Empire Wars ladder. But we are playing it on standard mode, so there is no feudal, no Empire Wars, but we do start with the stone walls here, which arguably are generated quite funky here. And as we see here, quite a long stretch of not really useful land here for Pride. Also, this is unwallable terrain. You could potentially wall behind, but some players choose to play this as a very open map. Some players play it more as a closed map. There is a lot of free fish that you could take here. A lot of players will dock out here. Mills could also work, especially with all the chickens around here. But with docks you can obviously produce your fishing ships as well. And I wonder if we will see players going for docks, mills, or if they will move out at all. As we currently have Frozen scouting around his base. Does see his boar here. Does see his boar here. Finds his chickens. Sends them home. And Pride sending the fifth one onto wood. Fifth onto wood for Frozen as well. So that indicates dock from both players. Yes, the villager goes forward and will likely build a dock and a house. As Pride opts for the house first and then the dock. And it's going out for the boar here. Dock coming in, boar coming in for Frozen. And I wonder if we will see more villagers here, because it could be dangerous to have just one vill out here on the shorelines, as a scout could snipe an unloomed villager. Now there is a hill nearby, so that could potentially change the outcome, depending on the micro, as Frozen just opts for loom instead of sending more villagers. Which I don't hate, personally. Pride producing his fishing ships. So is Frozen. And there is no deep fish, only shore fish, with some predators scattered around further away from the opening of your base. The second boar now comes in, or wants to come in, does not come in quite yet. And also loom coming in for Pride. As the boar gets shot by the TC and will be taken. The second boar for Pride, he does know where it is, but instead opts to go for all the other stuff under the TC first, as he sends the sixth one onto wood now. So he really wants to take advantage of all those fishing ships. As Frozen, just a little bit behind on the fishing ships, but also sends more villagers forward to collect from the fish. And Pride decides to not take the second boar, but instead opts for a mill. Could potentially take all these chicken and afterwards can take his shore fish. And he is 12 foot short. Good force drop here to click up. As we see Pride up first to the feudal age. And Frozen. Up 2 villagers later. But has 1 villager of idle TC time less. We see a second lumber camp coming in. And I wonder what we will see from these players as Pride drops down his barracks. So I assume it's going to be land for Pride. Could potentially mix in a fire or a demo or two once they are up. But I would like to see maybe an archery range or some scouts from Pride. From Frozen as well. They're both floating, or at least Frozen is floating a lot of food already. Obviously he has the better eco. Does not really show yet in the rest collected difference. It is starting to pull ahead slightly now. Has 1 more fishing ship, 2 more vills. As we see, nothing out of the dock. More villagers going forward. And Pride goes for the stable. As we see, 1 galley for Frozen. So he wants to protect his fisherman and fisherwoman. And his eco is looking quite solid. Could potentially make a few spearmen if he scouts what Pride is doing, of course. If he scouts that there is a stable coming up soon. As he is scouting, but not really looking for Pride at the moment. As the galley comes out. Goes for the mill at home. I would love to see it more in the way Pride did it. That way you can take all these chicken. Don't need to really focus on these farms. And there is so much free food here. I think it's worth to maybe invest in a dock or a mill over here instead of dropping a mill at home and investing into farms. As we see a stable now from Frozen, who did see the double scouts, so is going for spearmen. And Pride now with 3 scouts. Going for town watch as well, so we'll see everything. Now also going on to gold. And I like how this is all kind of compacted into a small wallable base. The scouts. Low HP scout. Ooh, that's some good micro from Pride. As the galley kills 1 scout, galley goes down, so villagers are exposed, villagers are not working. And being very annoying here, but being low HP and with that many villagers around, really not that much of a threat. I like that Frozen is going for an extra galley here. And Pride behind this is going for bloodlines. Going for foraging as well. 27 to 29 villagers, 4 fishing ships for Frozen, and 3 fishing ships for Pride. As Frozen opts in to add some more farms for some stable food income. Also getting horse color. And Pride now with bloodlines not producing any more scouts. I would love to see more scouts if you're going for bloodlines here. And the extra galley for Frozen comes out. As we see wheelbarrow coming in, and I think Pride might want to be clicking up after a wheelbarrow completes. And I love how Pride is just milling the outside, going for all these chickens, all this free food. Doesn't need to be on farms, but downside of that, of course, is that there is a lot of exposed eco potentially. As Frozen gets his market as the second building and clicks up to Castle H first. But I think Pride could be clicking up if these villagers maybe force drop, if the fishing ships force drop. As we see Pride clicking up now as well. And we see Bloodlines coming in for Frozen now. He's going for the second stable. And I wonder what Pride will open with here as the way once Castle H hits. It's Frozen still not redocking or milling the outside. Frozen will add skill barding armor. We see a third stable for Frozen. So he really wants to push early Castle H. And Pride is walling up this side of his base. So definitely wants to protect majority of his eco. As we see a stable now here for Pride as well, so he will be on 2 stables. Now the Berbers of course do get cheaper units from the stable in the Castle H, as we will see Frozen hit the Castle H now. And it's 6 knights instantly queued for Frozen. And I think a lot of the food eco from Pride is exposed, but is actually safe because I don't think Frozen will look for it like this far down the line. As we see Haegwang cavalry for Pride being queued. And knights are out for Frozen. And there we go. Where will these knights go? Nope, knights are not going. Knights need to retreat back home. Meanwhile, Haegwang cavalry for Pride are massing. Decides to send them forward, looking to do some eco damage. And this is a lot of exposed eco for Frozen. But he has a lot of army to protect, and I think with the knights and the spears there, Pride needs to run. And Pride needs to maybe get some more Haegwang cavalry on the field. I also would not mind getting a few pikemen extra on the field. Even if it's pikemen versus knights. That's behind this. Frozen did finally add in the mill on the outside. Love to see it. And goes for some attacks on the blacksmith. Does not want to engage right now. A demo here could be huge as well. As we see an engagement here. But the numbers are simply superior for Frozen. So are the upgrades. Getting the attack here also really nice. As we see some market abuse for Pride, who is struggling to keep his units coming out of the stables. And with that, Frozen 10 knights on the field, now switching into camels. As we see only a few military units for Pride on the field. Frozen looking to dive the TC. There's nothing here near the TC. And some of these gold villagers definitely exposed. There might be a hole. There is a hole. This needs to be walled, or we will see. Oh, it is walled. So at least these villagers are safe. Is there a hole? There is. Maybe there's a hole over here. But currently not really looking too good for Pride, as Frozen brought some villagers forward with the siege workshop. Also brought 2 wolves. That will not do too much. Villagers, though, could be exposed if these knights are not here. Siege Workshop. Will it be denied? Villager down, and Siege Workshop at 94%. This Pride desperately tries to repair the house here. With the camels now coming in behind. And this is Pride's entire gold eco right now. So he cannot really produce a lot more. He's forced to retreat back to the TC. Tries to use some monks. Converts a camel. That is nice. But with the army advantage here for Frozen, I think Pride is not in a great position. Frozen chooses to retreat. Could potentially snipe these fishing ships. Like I said, I think this is quite safe eco for Pride, since I don't think Frozen will try to look. And we see pikemen now in this barracks, queued with 10 pikemen as well. I would not mind seeing like a few more barracks at home. And right as I say that, there's at least one barracks. There is enough wood for a second barracks. As the fishing ships go down. And Frozen continues to stream more and more knights and camels into the eco of Pride. It's now taking out buildings. He's looping around, he's looping back. Maybe he's looking for Pride, if Pride has something in the middle, but of course we know Pride has a lot of eco right over here. And Pride now starting to get those spike numbers up. So, not really what you want to go for as the way, I think. But if Frozen doesn't pay attention and you have a few of these spikes roaming around, would definitely hurt his chances here, especially with how many pikes Pride currently is massing. Siege Workshop slowly being taken down. Houses slowly being taken down. I like getting the second armor here. Although it is currently, might be denied actually with how many knights there are here. 9 knights attacking the blacksmith, and I think chainmail armor, it might actually complete because Frozen pulled them away. I think if the blacksmith is this low, just stay around for just a bit longer. As we see a third barracks now coming in, and oh, this is open. Pride with the conversions gets some very nice hits. Behind this, Frozen still on 1 TC, but Eco KD 2-11. Although that's quite a few fishing ships that died there as well. And Frozen decides, I don't care about your pointy boys. I will just take the fight. Convincingly wins the fight here. And can kill a lot more eco, as Pride calls the GG. And so Frozen wins the first set of the Superdraft auction. As we have Frozen collecting a lot more resources. Even though I liked Pride's setup with the eco way more, I like that Pride was just moving around here, collecting a lot of the free resources, while Frozen opted a bit more for the standard. I'm going for farms approach. But with that being said, that is currently all the sets that have been scheduled and or played on the old patch, as far as I'm aware. So that is going to be it for me for today. Tomorrow I will be back with more sets, more casts, and more Superdraft auction. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow. But for now, I hope you guys have a nice day. And bye-bye.